Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another first Descendant video. So wanted to preview the update for the month of April arriving on the 16th, Thursday. Now 2 days before the update, we will get a dev live where they will preview the changes on the Tuesday, 14th of April. So far what we know is there will be the Onslaught mode arriving in its beta version. The full version will arrive in episode 4 in May. VIESSA gets a rework. Ines gets Transcendent modules. I think 2 Transcendent modules for Ines. Couple of weapons should get reworks. I don't recall if they mentioned which weapons. Stormhanger will be the returning Colossus for this month. Mutant cells will be simplified. So right at the moment we have too many boxes. They'll simplify that. The whole system will be simplified. And more quality of life changes. There is an in-game guide coming. So sort of a tutorial for new players. So this is also going to be a useful thing for newer players. And then of course we will have events and skins and things like that. So first let's talk about VIESSA. So VIESSA is getting a rework. Now in my opinion, VIESSA is very good, very strong. She lacks range. That is her main issue. So all her skills have a very narrow sort of area of effect. So that is one of the reasons why she lags behind people like Reyna or Bunny or Ines. So she hits very hard. So against Elise with her 4th skill, she's still very strong. And the only other issue is with the other skills, you have to spam them frequently to take care of all the weaker enemies. She has too much power, but not enough range. So that is like the main thing they need to look into when it comes to VIESSA. Otherwise, I think she's already very strong and she can take care of things very comfortably. She just struggles when there are too many enemies in a wide range. Besides this, we are getting Transcendent modules for Ines. Now with Ines, they I think mentioned something about one of them being around the firearms, the Transcendent modules. So that E-Buster might come into play. Ines has the opposite issue of VIESSA. Ines is very strong against weaker enemies. She has a big area of effect. She can take care of lots of enemies very quickly with her 4th skill. But she lacks the power against single targets. So that's why they added the E-Buster, but the E-Buster is also not that good. So yeah, so they need to work something where her 4th skill or one of her skills becomes really strong against the stronger enemies. And also some of the older Descendants, they tend to be a bit squishy. Now they did mention in their emergency broadcast that some of the Descendants will get their HP increased. So if you see some of the newer Descendants, Daya, Harris, Serena, they have a lot of HP and their damage often scales with HP and things like that. Some of the older people like Bunny, Freyna, they are a bit squishy. So I think they could use a little bit of HP here to make their lives a bit easier. So I think that is the strategy they are going for, is basically giving the weaker Descendants more HP so they're not as squishy and then reworking some of their skills. We'll see how that goes. I'm curious to see how they do this Ines rework with the Transcendent modules. I mean, it's not a rework as such, it's new Transcendent modules. So the playstyle shouldn't change too much, but 1 or 2 of them may make the firearms better. We shall see. Now, besides this, we have, of course, the Onslaught mode. Now, so far, we don't have too much information about Onslaught. It is going to be a thing where 4 players, join up, and I think there are 10 waves or something. It's supposed to be in like a section of Kingston, an abandoned section or something. And so again, this will be beta in April. They'll probably look at the feedback and see how it goes and then have the full version out in May with episode 4. So yeah, so let's see how that goes. So far, yeah, I'm hoping one of these endgame activities lands, because the previous stuff like breach striking or even the void erosion purge, it hasn't landed with the player base. I would say it has become a bit simple and not really something that people want to do unless they need the superconductive or the cores for the weapons. I recently finished the 1000 runs of Void Erosion Purge 10. So for me, I'm sorted with the cores for a while, unless there are lots of weapons to rebuild. But yeah, I don't really have a reason to do that. So as long as they have something interesting with the Onslaught, I'll be happy to try it out. And if it isn't, I'll hope they can tweak and adjust it and fix it. Besides this, we have weapon balances. Again, I don't know if they have mentioned the weapons so far. I don't recall them mentioning the weapons this month. So we'll find out soon anyway. After that, we have the Stormhanger. So Stormhanger, we got Stormhanger at the start of season 3 with Axian Plains. And Jaber and Nell were pretty good for that one, and even Luna. So yeah, so it'll be useful to see Jaber again doing something. So yeah, as long as they don't buff up the damage of the Stormhanger too much, I think Jaber might come into play for that one. They have already mentioned the changes to the mutant cells and the in-game guide in one of their tweets recently. So basically, as you know, with the mutant cells, there are too many boxes. They wanted to simplify that. They have mentioned that a while ago. I think they mentioned this several months ago, I think in December or something, that they're going to simplify this. So yeah, so this was on the roadmap, so nothing unusual here. For the other things, they are going to add a tutorial section, a guide in-game where people can go and understand what they need to do. Because one of the most common things I see often with newer players is they often ask, like, what should I do next? I've finished the campaign, what next? So they need to, explain that and also show some small videos or something of how to do the basic stuff like putting in the mods and catalyst and all those things. Because I've seen a lot of people, play the game, and they are not people who want to go and look at guides or do a bunch of research. They just want to just pick up the game and just relax and play for a bit and not have to study. So I think adding more tutorials within the game in various forms, because at the moment we just have the robot, you go and talk to him and you just have to read some text. If they can just improve that side of the game, because this is something that even Warframe struggles with, and they are still streamlining the new player onboarding, let's say. So this is something a lot of games need to understand, that not everybody will go to Reddit, will go to content creators and search in YouTube and how to look for guides. They just want to pick up the game and play. So I think, yeah, they need to keep working on things like in-game guides, make more videos, make more tutorials, make it more interactive, if that makes sense, and if it's possible, so that whenever a new person comes in, they are not feeling overwhelmed, because games like this have a lot of systems and they're not explained properly. So yeah, so let's see how they go with that. Besides that, we have the usual in-game events. So they again mentioned this on their Twitter yesterday. VIESSA is going to get a cleaning service skin this time. Now, these are the skins that were originally supposed to come out with Halloween in October. And these were paid skins. So they had 5 descendants for these cleaning service skins. VIESSA, Freyna, Bunny, Ines, and Serena. We already got Serena, Ines, and Bunny. Freyna's skin should be available in a few days in this current event. And then for this April one, they'll probably have VIESSA. I don't think there's anything else there. So it might be a shorter event, or maybe there'll be other rewards. There was a skin for one of the weapons, like a hand cannon or something. So yeah, so that is the event. And then we have the skins, which will be the Jazz Festival, and there will be a sportswear theme skin. So again, we'll see. They'll probably have some of the descendants in the Jazz Festival and the remaining one in the other theme. So, and the male descendants will get a common skin as well. The male skin actually looks pretty good this time. So yeah, that could be something to consider. At least with the male skins, if you get a universal, with them not adding any more male descendants, at least all of them will be covered. So that is good. But yeah, that is basically the update for the month of April. Again, this is the stuff that we already know of. Once they add more details and show us what's coming in their dev live, we'll see what we can do. At the moment, yeah, we have to be patient with the roadmap, because if you remember, the first 6 months are going to be mostly reworking and improving and making structural changes, as the CEO said in their investor report. So they are doing that right now. I'm hoping they can get at least some interesting game modes in, because I think that is the main thing this game is lacking right now. Because people like me, I can find things to do, but even people like me, once the update comes out, we have done all the stuff, then it's just an hour a day to do the dailies, and that's it. And then with the phone app, I'm just researching the catalyst, and that is pretty much it for the monthly stuff. So yeah, so that is basically it. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. See you next time.